For months, I had tolerated her little jabs, the ones she claimed were harmless, but over time, they wore me down. Every time I reached out, whether for a favor, emotional support, or even just to hold her hand, she would smirk and say, "Handle it yourself." At first, I laughed along, convincing myself it was playful teasing, a quirk of her humor. But gradually, I saw it for what it was, a way to belittle me, to corner me while she stood above it all. The constant dismissals, the casual disregard for my efforts, built an invisible wall between us. It wasn't just a joke anymore. It became a methodical way to undermine me, a slow erosion of my role in our relationship. I could feel my patience fraying, my respect quietly slipping away. And still, I didn't react impulsively. I watched. I calculated. I waited for the moment when I could reclaim my space. The breaking point arrived one evening when she said again, laughing, "Handle it yourself," as if my attempts to connect were nothing more than entertainment for her amusement. Something inside me snapped. I realized I didn't need to argue, to fight, or to plead to make her understand. I simply needed to withdraw, to show her what it felt like to be left to handle everything alone. So I stopped reaching. I stopped bending to her whims, anticipating her every need, or accommodating her playful cruelty. Silence became my ally, patience my weapon. Each time she looked for a reaction, she found none. She expected frustration, embarrassment, vulnerability, but instead, she found calm, deliberate distance. Days passed, and the shift was subtle but undeniable. I didn't announce my withdrawal. I didn't create a scene, but my absence spoke volumes. She noticed immediately. The way I no longer jumped to fix things, sought her approval, or took on responsibilities that were hers. At first, she tried small gestures, teasing remarks, playful nudges, but each attempt failed spectacularly. The power she once held through her jokes evaporated, replaced by my quiet, absolute control over my own actions. She tried to provoke me back into the old dynamic, but I remained calm, composed, unbothered. Then came the defining moment. One evening, she repeated the same joke, expecting the flustered expression, the awkward laugh, the embarrassed smile. I looked at her steadily, neutral, relaxed. No smile, no reaction, just stillness. In that instant, I watched her confidence crumble. The playful smirk that had defined her teasing disappeared. Her eyes widened, lips parted slightly. For the first time in months, she was speechless. She had expected control, dominance through mockery, but in my quiet, deliberate restraint, I had taken the upper hand. The space between us felt charged with a new energy. She searched my face for a crack in my composure, a hint of emotion, but there was none. Her usual tools, teasing, humor, mockery, failed entirely. Slowly, painfully, she realized that her repeated mockery and insistence on me handling it myself had been met with strategy and patience, not surrender. She had underestimated the quiet strength of deliberate inaction. In the following days, the change was unmistakable. Her teasing stopped. The jokes vanished. A new respect, or at least caution, entered our interactions. She spoke with more thought, aware the dynamic had shifted permanently. I hadn't humiliated her. I hadn't yelled or confronted her aggressively. The change came simply because I refused to participate in her game, and that alone carried more weight than any dramatic confrontation ever could. By the end of the week, the atmosphere had transformed. I felt empowered in ways I hadn't known I needed. Her vanished smile, the disbelief in her eyes, the quiet acknowledgement of her failed attempts to provoke me, all of it was a lesson in boundaries, patience, and composure. I demonstrated that respect isn't earned through mockery or power plays, but through consistent, clear action. In that deliberate withdrawal, I reclaimed my dignity entirely. She never fully regained the confidence she once wielded as a weapon. The teasing and dismissive remarks that had defined us were replaced by accountability and awareness. Calm, intentional boundaries communicated more effectively than anger or confrontation ever could. My silence spoke louder than words, leaving an impact far more lasting than any fleeting argument. In the weeks that followed, our interactions changed completely. She became considerate, self-aware, respectful of my presence and contributions. I didn't need to lecture or remind her my worth. My actions had done it quietly and decisively. The lesson was clear. When someone repeatedly undermines you, the most powerful response can be deliberate withdrawal and calm observation. It forces them to face the consequences of their behavior without theatrics. Looking back, I recognize that vanished smile as a turning point, the moment she fully grasped the effect of my choice. By stopping my reach, I redefined the balance in our relationship. Patience, composure, and strategic silence changed everything. No confrontation, no anger, no shouting, just the quiet force of deliberate action. That moment wasn't only a lesson for her, it was a lesson for me about the strength of boundaries, the importance of self-respect, and the undeniable impact of calm, intentional decisiveness.